Welcome to Bed Crime Stories podcast. I'm your host, T. If you like all things true crime, if you like it delivered in a peaceful, tranquil manner, if you like it clear and concise without drama, then I highly recommend you subscribe. And if you like what you hear, please smash the like button. It's a free way you can help. And now, without further ado, let's dig in. Well, hello there. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you guys are. I wanted to come on just to talk about the bone that was found near the St. Jude's campus in Memphis, Tennessee this morning. The police say that one bone was found, and officers were called to investigate. The medical examiner was brought in to determine if the bone is human. And this is what St. Jude is saying about the find. Quote, "Crews performing routine excavation work Monday on the site of a future parking garage discovered possible human remains underneath a concrete slab of a former City of Memphis facility built in 1933. The site, which had been owned and used by the city from 1895 until ALSAC purchased it in 2018, was first used as the city stables and then as a garage that housed fueling, repair, and storage for vehicle and heavy equipment fleets. The site is adjacent to Winchester Park, which was formerly Winchester Cemetery. That cemetery was closed and relocated in the late 1800s. Since the property was purchased, LSAC and St. Jude have worked to improve it by completing significant environmental remediation, including removal of 2 large underground fuel tanks and the demolition of 7 buildings on site. As part of due diligence, we had already engaged with a professional archaeological firm, which was on site monitoring the site work. The proper authorities have been contacted to ensure the potentially centuries-old remains are handled properly and treated with the utmost care," end quote. And that's from St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. So they're saying there is evidence that may lead to the bone belonging to a former burial ground at the location. That burial ground was established at the site in 1828, and it remained the city cemetery until 1847, but quickly deteriorated. The police are saying they are not investigating it as a homicide at this time. So I'm thinking if this one bone, was found underneath a concrete slab of a former City of Memphis facility that was built in 1933, the chances are this bone has nothing to do with a current case, if you know what I mean. Now, I was reading that depending upon what bone this is, say it's a skull or a pelvis bone, that would make it a lot easier to identify. They can tell if it's male or a female. They can tell the age approximately. They should be able to get DNA out of the bone as well. If it was an entire skeleton, it would be a lot easier to identify. But because it's one bone and we don't know what type of bone, it may prove challenging to determine who this belongs to, the age of the person, etc. I know a lot of people, when they heard that a bone was found near St. Jude's, knowing that Sebastian Rogers' stepfather, Chris Proudfoot, is or was working a crane at that construction site, immediately alarm bells went off. Personally, I've learned my lesson. Don't get too excited about these things. And in this particular case, hearing that it was a cemetery at one point, a burial ground, hearing that one bone was found under a concrete slab that dates back to a building from 1933, it's making me think that it is unlikely that this bone could be connected to this current case. So I wanted to tell you all of this so you don't get too stirred up over it. I heard somebody say that Seth Rogers was on his way to Memphis. I don't know if that's true. I doubt that he would just take off like that, wildly driving when it's one bone and knowing the circumstances of where it is found. But then again, somebody desperate to find their child may just head off like that in a hurry to try to get the answer as soon as possible. So that's all for now, and I'll see you next time on Bed Crime Stories.
We start Action News 5 midday with breaking news. A bone found near the St. Jude Children's Research Campus. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jerry Askin.
And I'm Ariana Poindexter. Memphis police were called to Lane Avenue in St. Jude around 7 this morning. The medical examiner was called to help determine if the bone is human. MPD says there is information to support this location was previously a burial site. This is near Winchester Park. We'll of course keep you updated as we learn more.